Okay, let's get into Varney Lake then. Jimmy, summer 1954. Oh, I forgot there's going to be lots of reading. Fun times, fun for my throat. Honestly. Oh, press anything to continue. Truth or dare? Christine? The question takes you by surprise. I don't know why you ask him. He always makes the same choice. Dare. What did I tell you, huh? As hard as it is to admit, Doug is right. Dare always was the easy option for you. I feel like dare is always the easy option for boy. Like I don't know why, but like kids, boys, I feel like they always say dare rather than truth, whereas girls would rather say truth. But that could be me just projecting. Christine bites her lip. Let's see. I know. You're going to try Doug's new game. Huh? Wouldn't you rather make me eat a beetle? Ew. Or do a headstand on an ant's nest? Jesus, these are some choices. Yeah, you two laugh. You'll need me later to learn new tricks. Christine taps you on the shoulder. You look at her and she smiles at you. You can't think of anything to say. You feel like every step you don't open your mouth is another missed opportunity. And you know what? You know that when you go to sleep and run a conversation in your head, 1,000 things you could have said to her will come to you. Oh, do you reckon he fancies her? You think you hear someone whistling. Are you imagining things now? You're still bothered about yesterday. Why didn't you wait for Doug and Christine to arrive? What did you want to prove? You try to think of something else. Like your mum says, what's done is done. You clear your throat. Dear listeners. Yeah, fuck yeah. Oh my god, they're swearing. We formally kick off a new summer in Varney Lake. Doug claps his hands and Christine wolf whistles. Christine is a year and 10 months older, but when you do the radio host voice, you don't feel the age gap as much. She's Doug's cousin, and this is the 4th summer you've spent together. She lives with just her mum. Her dad died in the Korean War. Doug is a few months younger than you. He's still 12, but turns 13 in a few weeks. He never knew his father, and his mother is Christine's aunt. Christine, Doug, and you are all only children. And what had started as a joke ended up formalizing into the idea of a club. So make yourself comfortable. You pause and point to Doug and Christine. The all-new adventures of the only child club are about to begin. Oh, that's actually kind of cute. The club has been Doug's idea, but it was Christine who suggested trying to raise the money to buy the old Varney Lake Drive-In Theatre. They say you can see strange lights at night. Christine makes a noise with her mouth. Who say? Doug doesn't answer. It wouldn't be the headlights of ghost cars, would it? You laugh. Doug takes a deep breath and shakes his head from side to side. People died in that fire. Real people. Can't you see his face, Jimmy? He is fucking with you. Doug laughs and makes some faces at you. You let out a laugh and threaten to punch him in the stomach. You get to the old sycamore tree and try to erase the memory of that time when you chickened out of kissing Christine. Jimmy, the dare. It had all started 2 summers ago. Doug had shown you a book he was obsessed with. He wouldn't tell you where he'd found it. The book provided lots of valuable information on games played with cards, matchsticks, dice. That tin can we keep the money in isn't going to be big enough, right? Doug opens his backpack, takes out a deck of cards and hands it to you. In the last few years, you three had raised enough money to get your hopes up. Remember what we promised? Christine tucks her hair behind her ear. Before the youngest member of the club turns 18, Doug beats his chest. That would be me. We'll buy the drive-in. The solitaire game I invented is going to make us so much money. Okay, please don't be the one that they played in Bantam Nights. It's called Solitaire 10. You'll see why. Okay, it's different. The idea is to start from the card you turn over and try to add cards to get to 10. 10, but isn't a jack worth 11? Yes, the jack 11, the queen 12, and the king 13. So, Doug pauses before revealing the key to his creation. Depending on the colour of the card, you can turn over cards you choose from the board. Will either add or subtract to the total. What, so I'm guessing I'm guessing black's going to detract and red's going to plus? Try to might find it hard to follow Doug's instructions. Doug seems to realise this and then signals you to wait. If the first card is red, red cards will add to the total and black cards will subtract. Told ya. And if it's black, black cards will be the ones that add... Oh, it's going to be opposite? Oh, damn. Okay, so because I've turned over red, red cards will add, and black cards will subtract, but if I turned over a black, then it'll be the opposite. This is so silly, Doug. And what happens if you can't reach 10? You turn over a new card and continue with that one. Christine remains silent. She seems to be about to say something, but in the end she doesn't. And get this, Doug can't hide his excitement. If you reach 10 using all of the 10 cards available, you shout Super 10 and win outright. Doug taps you on the shoulder. You make a Super 10, and I give you a dare. Well, just get started. If you run out of cards to turn over and can't make 10, we count the cards in the pot and that's your final score. Oh, I guess you can, because if you keep using like cards to subtract as well as add. Cousin. Now what? Christine seems to enjoy the situation. There's an easy way to make a Super 10. No? How? Christine starts to explain something, but you stop paying attention. You hear a whistling sound that makes your gut clench. You see Brandon in the distance and your heart starts to race. They're looking for you. Oh god, he looks like a badass. Guys, I fucked up. Doug and Christine suddenly shut up. What do you mean you fucked up? Jimmy. You point to a spot on the horizon and your voice cracks. It's just that Brandon... You pause and try to sound more confident. Yesterday we played dice and I fleeced him. Christine taps you on the shoulder and Doug throws his head in his hands. Fucking hell. They're going to kill us. Shh, come on, come over here. And get down. Christine is almost 2 years older than you, but there are times when you feel even younger next to her. You walk non-stop for more than half hour. If Brandon doesn't kill us, the heat will. Oh my god, they're talking like they're in the desert or something. I can't believe you didn't wait for us yesterday. Hugs to you as well. How you doing, lovely? Happy Tuesday. Brandon wanted a rematch. I didn't think he'd figure out Doug's trick. You fought? That's your problem. You think too much. You keep quiet and look straight ahead. You can't bring yourself to hold Christine's gaze. Sorry to interrupt you, but we've reached the river. Little River is one of the main tributaries of Varney Lake. Is it safe? Is it secret? Is it safe? You take a deep breath and cross the old bridge at full speed. The distance makes you feel better, because even though you like her, Christine intimidates you. Come on, Doug. Don't be a pussy. Doug looks at Christine, and Christine points to the bridge. Your turn. Doug starts to cross. A board moves, and he lets out a scream. Christine laughs. It's beautiful, but makes you feel hollow. And that hollowness reminds you that Christine's been dating a boy from her hometown for several years. And that when the summer is over, she'll be back with him. Over there, see? Yes. What is it? No freaking idea. Should we go see? Christine nods and Doug shrugs. You've never been to this part of Varney Lake before? How far have we walked already? Not far enough yet. Christine seems to be looking for the right word. Bitter. A son of a bitch, you think. You walk faster to try to keep some thoughts out of your head. Christine follows close behind you, and Doug. Wow. Wow. A new headquarters for the club? Gets my vote. Is it abandoned? Let's go and see. You all run to the entrance of the mill with a surprising energy. Although the door is open, the stench of confinement is intense. There's a guy in there. The sun. For a few seconds, no one says anything. Doug seems to remember something and starts going through his backpack. My mum bought this allergy cream for me. The sun. Something about the man's desperation moves you. You grab Doug's hand and shake your head. You think of your grandfather. The day he died, you had read him a letter from your grandmother. When you finished and you thought he had fallen asleep, you got up carefully and walked to the door. But he was not asleep. Whispering, he asked you to close all the curtains. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Half an hour later, you found him dead in his bed. And you could swear he was smiling. He doesn't need any cream, Doug. He just wants a little darkness. The sun is coming through 2 different windows. One high up, the other full of broken glass. Let's cover the windows first. You think about asking Doug and Christine to stand in front of the lowest window, but it's full of glass and looks dangerous. As for the high window, there's no way to cover it without us using some kind of tool. Okay, so we search through the rubble first then. Okay, so grab blanket, move old plow, or grab long reed. Let's grab the blanket first. You lift the blanket and shake it a little. Move old plow. Lean it against the high window. Lean against the window of the broken glass. Lean against the window of the broken glass. You leave the blanket on the floor. You ask Doug and Christine for help and you lift the old plow. Watch out for the glass. You move it closer to the window and gently rest it to block the light from coming from outside. Excellent. Oh god, he's gonna get his powers now, isn't he? Search for the hole. Oh yeah, grab the blanket. You lift the blanket and shake it a little. Go back and then cover the windows. Use the blanket with high window. You lean the reed against the wall and notice that it reaches up to the high window. Use the blanket with high window. You lean the reed. Okay. Search for the rubble. Grab long reed. In the corner of the mill, you find some long reeds. You grab one. Cover the windows. Use reed and blanket. Ah, okay, we use them together. Fair enough. Use reed and blanket with high window. Something occurs to you. It's the same technique your mum uses to remove cobwebs from high ceilings. Only she uses a broom and an old rag. You put the blanket over the reed and lean the reed against the wall. You try to block the light coming through the window without success. You need another reed to stretch the blanket and cover more surface area. Grab another long reed. You grab another long reed. Cover the windows. You lean the second reed against the wall and tuck it under the blanket. Moving the 2 reeds carefully, you stretch the blanket to block out all the light coming through the high window. Old man. Something tells me he's very old. Oh my god, I thought it was reaching into his thing then. Doug's canteen bounces off one of the walls and lands on the rubble with a thud. You're not even sure you saw the old man lashing out, and you wonder if your brain isn't filling in the blanks. Arr! Arr! You help the old man up. Who is he? Where did you find him? And why is he dressed like that? You turn your head towards the door. Oh god, he's gonna kill the deer! It's like Twilight all over again. The old man raises his hand, his gaze fixed upon the animal. Oh my god, he's gonna get it with its gaze. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. None of you move a muscle. You think of Brandon laughing about how he and his brothers used to kill rabbits. You have to point the flashlight at them. They freeze like idiots. You approach slowly and a good hit does the rest. Ooh, but what followed was no hit at all. Poor baby! The body of the deer lay limp at the feet of the vampire. It's noon, and the same sun you blocked from the old mill shines with all its intensity over Varney Lake. Poor deer! Boo. Is Vane a vampire? Oh my god, look who it is! It's Lou. It's Lou. Lou is literally in all of the fucking games. Ugh, he's like the time factor. Oh wait, but this is in the future. Because the beginning was in like the 1950s. This is 1981, so this is after the Mothman as well. But this must be before Bunsen Nights. I wonder if like he's actually going to tie the stories together. I can only imagine the fear you must have felt. Jimmy remains silent. Oh, so it's heading. Okay, so I guess the common thread is that these are stories that Lou has either like been involved in or been told. Staring at some point behind your head. After his detailed account about the first encounter with a vampire, he seems somewhat changed, but you can't really say how. You look towards the door. Will she come as she promised? Jimmy sighs and looks down. What's he thinking about? He doesn't know about it, but you'd got your hands on the reports about his involvement in the Vietnam War through an acquaintance. Would you include any of that in your new book? Ask again if they were afraid. Huh? You repeat the question one more time. No, not afraid. I don't really know. We were kids. You wait for him to say something else, but he seems lost in the thought again. Another coffee? Jimmy shakes his head and you don't insist. You think of your editor, of the words he said to you last time you met. Your career wouldn't survive another failure. Jimmy settles back in his chair. Okay, that person in the background has got to be the vampire, right? Kind of focusing on him. You want to know what I'm afraid of, Lou? Did you ever forget a name? The director of a movie? Or the author of a book? When something like that happens to you, the mind becomes obsessed. It goes into a loop, trying to remember that name even when you don't care anymore. The answer can appear at any moment. While you're watching TV, while you're washing the dishes. That stubbornness, that freedom of your mind to work behind the scenes. As if it were an independent entity. What's the limit, Lou? The limit doesn't exist. Does it have an end? You remain silent, feeling how the distance between you and Jimmy grows with each passing second. For you, these questions were never rhetorical, and you know that there are not many people prepared to listen to the answers. There it is. After talking on the phone, you had your doubts. Oh! But in she came. You had chosen his table so that Jimmy was sitting with his back to the door. You needed a surprise effect. Wow. Okay, so we know for sure that obviously like Jimmy and Christine survive, but I'm wondering if Doug does. Christine? Time seems to stand still when either of them moves. How long has it been? 27 years. Wow. You notice the way Jimmy seems to stumble over his words. You know that love is nothing more than an adaptive trick to perpetuate the species. But as with any other magic trick, knowing there's a trick is not enough to escape its effects. Come, let's sit at the table. Jimmy? I can't believe it. Jimmy smiles and you look away. There's something about the gesture that makes you uncomfortable, as if the muscles in his face have forgotten what a smile looks like. I'm a little late, I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. We've just started. You tell Christine what you were talking about with Jimmy. That day in the summer of 1954 when you met the vampire. Did you tell him about Doug, my cousin? Jimmy nods and starts drumming his fingers on the table. Why is he drumming his fingers on the table? Although you assume it's a nervous gesture, Jimmy's finger seems to be asking something of Christine. That summer was... I'm sorry. I thought I was ready. You lean forward and take a deep breath. You know you can't miss this opportunity. You tell them what you can about your new book. At first you find it hard to articulate some ideas. You're not selling a project to a publisher. Gradually you find your tone and you're aware of the effect of your words have on both Jimmy and Christine. I wonder if he's going to tell them about the Mothman of 1966. You even talk about memory as a way of purging the present at a point when you are feeling particularly poetical. But you know that memory can be that, and much more. You don't feel comfortable. Why are you doing all this? Is what your editor really thinks so important? Your readers? Anyway, you had managed to spur a change. And Christine seemed determined to talk. You have to understand that we were kids. Kids! You find it interesting that Christine uses the same arguments as Jimmy. That's the summer was... That the summer was just the beginning. Wow, I miss that feeling. The days seem to go on forever, and we could do anything. Oh, end of the chapter already, nice. Christine. Okay, back to the summer of 1954. What do you think the odds are? You like this feeling, almost as if you were floating, and everything weighed a little less. You needed this. And you know your mum did too. I'd say the same odds as shuffling a deck of cards. and getting an order that's already been dealt. In the history of all mankind. Wait a minute. How? I read somewhere that if you shuffle a deck of 52 cards well, if you shuffle it very well 4 or 5 times, like this, even though you're not looking at him, you can imagine Doug shuffling an invisible deck of cards. The odds of getting a card order someone already got are infinitely small. There's a slight breeze. You try to imagine what could be the possible configuration for you to see it. How small? It was like 1 in, I don't know, a huge number. I think it had like 67 zeros. Wow. Does a number that big even have a name? You can't help but smile. Jimmy is nothing like your boyfriend. Your boyfriend is taller, bigger, more self-confident. I think we're gonna see it. Neither one of them says anything, but you know they're waiting for you to go on. Doug, your little cousin, who has always idolized and feared you in equal measure. Jimmy, Doug's friend who is now your friend too, and you always knew he liked you. Mark my words, this summer we're going to see Mount Rushmore in the sky. I don't know, cousin. 67 is a lot of zeros. The math is not important. It's enough that we've added it to the list. Doug pulls your journey out of the backpack and hands it to you. And you all read the summer bucket list with veneration. Get $100 USD, catch an albino tarpon, see Mount Rushmore in the clouds. Even though you understand the boys' doubts, you know they're looking at the problem in the wrong way. Finding shapes in the clouds speaks more about the people looking for them than the shapes themselves. The problem is to get the 3 of you to agree on what you're seeing. And when that moment comes, when all 3 of you agree that you're seeing the same thing, you will have reached the most precious moment of your friendship. Oh, that's kind of cute. That's kind of nice. No worries, Diablo. See you shortly. Because you get distracted like me. I do. I blame it on the ADHD vein. ADHD problems. Hashtag ADHD. This was one of the club's oldest goals. Year after year, you aim to raise $100 to someday be able to buy the drive-in theater. I'm sure the drive-in theater will cost more than $100, no? Even in the 50s? Last year, you had come close. And Jimmy, for all you needed was just a little more ruthlessness. Martin, Felix's father, was the only one who had ever caught one. Such a feat had earned him his picture on the wall of the fisherman's bar. There was a time when everyone wanted to catch another albino tarpon. But time went by and people started to distrust Martin's story, and the very existence of the albino tarpon. Check the Varney Lake map. You look at the locations you've marked on the map. Up Little River. Felix had told you that before he was born, his parents had a daughter. A daughter who would now be like you if it weren't for a strange disease that had caused her death at a very young... Jesus Christ. I forget how dark these games can get quickly. Maybe that's why Martin talked to you more than the rest. Maybe that's why he had told you about the place where you should start looking for the albino tarpon. Eagle Hill is located southwest from the lake. The perfect place to feel close to the sky and find different shapes in the clouds. Eagle Hill was one of the spots that couples, older kids, used to meet up at night. You know why. Until the winter, Barbara disappeared. Barbara lived year-round at Varney Lake. Eagle Hill was the last place she'd been seen alive. Oh my god, I'm guessing the vampire took her. And with Brandon, no less. After ruling out Brandon as a suspect, the police believed that Barbara had run away from Varney Lake. Rumour around town had it that she didn't get along with her parents at all. The general market is almost as old as the first settlement in Varney Lake. You can buy almost anything, from bread or butter to batteries or cigarettes. But even more important, the general market is surrounded by a concrete playground where the kids from Varney Lake hang out a lot. And that playground is the ideal place to play Doug's games. Shouldn't we mark the area the vampire told us about? Oh, so this is actually after they meet the vampire. I wasn't sure if it was before because they weren't really talking about the fact that they've just discovered a vampire. Doug's right. The old cobblestone road stretches for miles. No one knows when it was built, or by whom. The vampire had told you to follow it to the end, and to wait until it was 7 o'clock in the evening. Jimmy looks at Doug. I told my mum I'm sleeping at your house tonight. I told mine I'm sleeping at yours. Doug and Jimmy laugh heartily, and their mothers are at each other's throats and not talking. Oh, that's very naughty of them. That's very naughty. It's the perfect alibi. What about you? Neither of them ask you anything. You know they do it out of respect. Your mum is usually so drunk at night that you don't have to make up an excuse to go out. You take a deep breath and get up. Summer is just beginning, and Varney Lake seems full of possibilities. Go fishing, go to General Market, go to Eagle Hill, stay here and see Doug's surprise. It's nice right here, and I don't feel like walking too much. Let's see the surprise. Doug looks for something in the backpack, and he's trembling with emotion. Doug's matchstick extravaganza. We're going to say, oh my god, it's another game. If we're going to stay here, let me welcome you to my extravaganza of matchstick puzzles. You make a face, and Jimmy smiles. Very good presentation. Yeah, but we want the puzzle. Doug arranges the matches on the board. So hear me out. Oh, I actually kind of like things like this. But I'm really bad at them. You can move just two matches to any position marked with a dotted line, and must get 6 squares. Oh. Move only 2 matches to get 6 squares. You look at the board. It can't be that hard, you think. I think I know how. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, maybe I don't. Oh, that's 5. That's 5 boxes. No worries, Vane. See you shortly. I mean all of them. Not that match. Oh, I got a trophy for it at least. Fucking hell. Your solution is correct. Wait, I thought it was get 6. Oh, because the big one. Oh, of course. Oh, I am really clever. If I have squares in the big square made up of 4. Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, my God. My solution is this. It's a symmetry. Symmetry? It's a symmetry. Oh, it's nighttime. What do you think he meant? I think it was clear, especially after seeing how you were shaking in the mill. Huh? Yeah, right? Wasn't it you who let out a scream when he bit the deer, huh? You're a little bored of listening to them fights. It's usually something you enjoy, but there are times when they seem childish. You think about your boyfriend. What's he doing right now? Does he miss you? Do you miss him? It's here. The end of the old road. I sharpened a twig with a razor. It might work as a stake. I would actually want to kill him. I bought a silver chain. For a few seconds, no one says anything. What time is it? I'm hoping that the bullies get eaten. You look at the clock. It's almost 7. Brandon didn't show up all day, did he? You don't think that. Doug suddenly goes quiet. Do you feel that? You feel it too. A vibration. Some kind of electricity. And a burning smell. Where the fuck did this place come from? What the... Look how happy he looks. Come here, come on. Jimmy still surprises you. A few minutes ago he seemed... What word did you use? Childish. Now you don't quite know what to think. What do you think? Shall we go in? You shake your head. Jimmy's about to say something, but suddenly shuts up. Well, I've been waiting for you. Come with me. You look at Doug. Doug looks at Jimmy. And Jimmy looks at you. Jimmy strides forward and forces you to take a few quick steps so as not to be left behind. Wow. Yes, wow. You feel small in there. You've never seen a house with such high ceilings. There was a time when everything was different. You'd have been greeted by my servants, entertained until I decided to join you. What would you like to drink? Water, soda. I mean, this blood's not an option. I'll have a water. Holy water. He is so not impressed. An awkward silence follows Jimmy's joke. A soda then. Doug's eyes widen. Me too. Your cousin can't stay away from sugary drinks. Let's make it 3 sodas. To keep things simple. You try to make up for Jimmy's attitude with a smile. Are they not worried? They're literally in a vampire's house. Maybe there's some in the pantry. I'll be back in a minute. As soon as the door to the huge dining room closes, the 3 of you jump out of your chairs. How old is this furniture? Who are all these people? Did you see the little bats on the chairs? None of you can contain your amazement. After all, you were in the vampire's house. Sorry, you were in a vampire's house. Oh yeah, they're saying were because we're telling a story in present day, aren't we? Holy water? Doug lets out a hiss and you can't help but laugh. I'm sure he's been thinking up vampire jokes all afternoon. Jimmy doesn't say anything, and your laughter doesn't last long. The silence is oppressive. You wonder if the walls of the dining room had ever heard the sound of people laughing. You unconsciously fondle with your bracelet, and you're thankful it's silver. Your door opens and none of you say anything. Oh my god, is he serving it to them in like, what are they called? Goblets? That's quite funny. Oh, you can hear them fizz, so they must be okay. Doug and Jimmy uncork their bottles, and they don't like what they hear. A faint hissing sound, like a balloon quietly deflating. Did you see the bottle date? Oh, maybe it's not okay then? You try to speak softly so the vampire won't hear you. One of my maids always said, soda never expires. Did he hear you? How? He's a fucking vampire, babe. Do vampires have superhuman hearing? Yes, of course they do. Please. I know you have a lot of questions. Brandon, for example. You won't have to worry about him anymore. Yay, he killed the bully. Did you kill him? Oh my god, I love him. He's so sassy and fabulous. What do you think I am? Let's just say he's not going to be able to hurt anyone anymore. Oh my god, maybe he's turned him into his Renfield. Listen carefully. You saved me, and now I owe you. What about the drive-in theatre? The question takes you by surprise. Oh my god, is he going to buy the drive-in theatre for us? That would be so cool. Is the vampire also able to read your mind, or is there a simpler explanation? We like horror movies. What is Doug doing? Why is he even telling him stuff? Give me a minute. I have something to show you. Something to show us? How many of the dozens of horror movies you've seen include a line just like that one? You wait for the door to close. And you don't have to say anything. No! They ran away? You try to hold back your laughter and breathe through your nose. Why? Why did we run? Doug tries to catch his breath. What do you mean, why? That old guy's a freak, and we don't want to die in his haunted house. I mean, he's a vampire. You look at Jimmy and smile. Jimmy smiles back. It's just a second, and when you realise, you look down and pull your arm away.